Hey brother! Guys, this is a video I am excited to make about the history of Slytherin House, not in the books, but actually out here, in the real world. Because back in the 90s and early 2000s when Harry Potter was coming out and was the most, significant global phenomenon of its time, fans desperately wanted to be more and more involved with the wizarding world. And the most obvious gateway entry point into feeling like you were a part of the wizarding world was figuring out, what's your Hogwarts house? Where are my people at? And I get it. I mean, identifying with your house and getting that sense of belonging is tremendous and has always been super fun. But back then, there was one house you probably didn't want to be in.
Slytherin!
Guys? Guys? You want to play gobstones? I got a new set. Gross marbles. And why wouldn't you want to be in Slytherin? Well, here's what was happening. As I said, knowing what house you were in was the #1 desire of Potterheads. And good news, the official Harry Potter website, Pottermore, now just called wizardingworld.com, a de facto worse and less whimsical name, but it's neither here nor there. I mean, it's a little bit here and it's a dumb name, so what, I'm not salty at all. But either way, Pottermore had just the quiz for its fans. And while people absolutely flocked to it, Pottermore was quickly met with a dilemma. Namely that 25% of their fans took the quiz and got sorted into Slytherin, the house they just spent 7 books reading about as the bad guy house, the evil house, the Voldemort house. I mean, how is that supposed to make you feel about yourself? Like, ashamed? Embarrassed?
Empowered?
Hopefully not. Because can you imagine how it would feel to be an 11-year-old taking this quiz? I mean, I remember taking it, and it felt like at long last you'd been allowed to look directly into the mirror of Erised, only to discover the dark truth you'd been keeping from yourself, that deep down, you were not a great person, and all you really cared about was yourself and power. But perhaps even worse than how you felt about yourself was how other people interpreted this information about you, which led to a very odd situation that I've always thought of as the Slytherin Paradox. So how was this dilemma handled, and what was that paradox? Well, today we get to the bottom. Hey, brother! Quick reminder, you guys, that our podcast Through the Griffin Door is going on tour to the Southeast. We're going to be visiting Charlotte, Tampa Bay, Orlando, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and Nashville. It is all happening this February, and tickets are on sale now. Details about specific dates are on the description down below, and you can just visit SuperCarlinBrothers.com if you want to buy tickets. See you there. So, the Slytherin dilemma. What was Pottermore to do about this? I mean, they certainly didn't want to alienate a quarter of their audience and accidentally tell millions of kids that they were secretly evil dark wizards that Harry, Ron, and Hermione would never be friends with. Maybe not intentionally, but that's not what they were doing.
There's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
So first there was the quiz itself, which I've always loved. I mean, before I took it, I really hoped that it had found a way to ask you the questions without the answers being super obvious about which house you were picking. Like, I really didn't want it to be like, what's your favorite color? Red, green, blue, or yellow? What's your favorite animal? Lion, snake, badger, eagle? Do you consider yourself brave, or ambitious, or smart, or a stack of waffles? No, of course, I'm only joking. They're pancake people. But I was not disappointed by the quiz. I mean, the questions felt all over the place, presenting you with random scenarios and giving you more than 4 answers to choose from. And if you don't know how the metrics of the quiz work, behind the scenes, basically each answer is actually weighted for multiple houses. For example, if you choose option A, maybe that gives you 10 points in your Gryffindor column, but it also puts 5 points in the Hufflepuff column. It's more something a Gryffindor would do, but not something a Hufflepuff wouldn't do. And this was great because not knowing which house you were picking allowed you to answer honestly and get what felt like a genuine result about who you were, rather than something that it felt like you manufactured, which I've always thought is an excellent feature, unless that process leads you to think that you are somehow inwardly evil.
Empowered.
But then it also kind of got worse because after you got sorted, you'd then get a welcome letter from a prefect in your house. And in Slytherin's case, the letter came from a truly sparkling little elitist young lass by the name of Gemma Farley. And I'm not just saying that, those are her words, not mine. I mean, she literally writes,
"As far as we're concerned, you've become a snake. You're one of ours, one of the elite."
Okay, maybe that's not terrible. I mean, little house pride is not a big deal. And to her credit, she does try to assuage your concerns about being sorted into Slytherin, but somehow also simultaneously goes on to bolster its dark reputation.
Yes, some of that respect might be tinged with fear because of our dark reputation. But you know what? It can be fun having a reputation for walking on the wild side.
No, we're not racist, but isn't it cool how everyone thinks we are? No, but I'm sure she's respectful of the other houses though, right?
Do you want to follow in the footsteps of Merlin, or would you rather sit at the old desk of that illustrious ex-Hufflepuff, Eggplant Puff, or whatever his name is, inventor of the self-soaping dishcloth?
Maybe she likes Ravenclaws?
We Slytherins look after our own, which is more than you can say for Ravenclaw. Apart from being the biggest bunch of swats you ever met, Ravenclaws are famous for clambering over each other to get good marks, whereas we Slytherins are family.
Right, yes, because as everyone knows, you can't want good grades and be a family. Kind of conditional love I like to make sure that my sons are very aware of. Now listen up, boys. You can either be a part of this family, or you can be some nerdy swat who only cares about their schoolwork. Take your pick. You'd think being so elite, they'd want their house to feel like family and good grades, right? Also, by the way, boys, if you need help with your homework, just ask. I'm here. But you're not allowed to call me dad anymore. No, don't put it there. It's Mr. Carlin to you. That's so terrible. The letter just feels so heavy-handed and like such an obvious thing to not do, but I'll try and give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they just thought the books did a pretty good job of closing the evil circle on Slytherin. I mean, Dumbledore is constantly preaching unity to the school after Voldemort returns and insists that inter-house cooperation is the key to victory. I say to you all once again, in the light of Lord Voldemort's return, we are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided. Differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open. Then the Sorting Hat suggests the same thing the next year. Though condemned I am to split you, still I worry that it's wrong. For our Hogwarts is in danger from external deadly foes, and we must unite inside her, or will crumble from within. All four houses must come together. A pill even the most noble Harry Potter has difficulty swallowing. It wants all the houses to be friends, said Harry, looking over at the Slytherin table where Draco Malfoy was holding court. Fat chance. But that said, Harry does still go on to assemble a small army from the other three houses, uniting with them in a way he has never done before. And while it does take him a while to eventually come full circle on Slytherin, he does do it, naming his son Albus Severus after Snape and telling him, "But just say I was sorted into Slytherin. Then Slytherin House will have gained an excellent student, won't it? It doesn't matter to us, Al." Yeah, maybe it's not like a redemption arc for Slytherin, but Harry at least does come to terms with them, and yet fans didn't seem to turn that corner along with him, still regarding Slytherins as, with maybe the rare exception, the bad guys. But guys, we need to take a brief pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, BetterHelp. First, I'd like to just give a huge shout out to the wonderful crew we have here at SCB. I mean, you guys see our faces, but what you don't often see is Kat, Ethan, and Isybelle, who all work so hard to help us on our journey to content creation. And I bring them up because 1, they deserve recognition, and 2, because this month is all about practicing gratitude, not only towards those people who help us on our journeys, but also to someone else we all likely fail to give proper recognition to. Ourselves! It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world, that isn't easy.
Working hard is important, but there's something that matters even more. Believing in yourself.
But listen up, you are doing your best. Keep up the great work. Therapy has taught me a lot about practicing gratitude and the benefits of doing so, because it's so easy to get bogged down by our stressors and easy to overlook the things or people that do in fact brighten your day. So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/super to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/super. Link is in the description down below. So what was the solution? Rebrand Slytherin House, not as the Dark Wizard House, but just the house that Voldemort happened to be in. I mean, he had to be in one of them, right? So, first order of business, give the Slytherins some heroes that aren't so morally gray, like Snape or Slughorn or Draco or Regulus or Narcissa. Like, do you see the problem? Enter The Cursed Child, the Broadway show about Harry's kids, or more specifically, his middle child, Albus, who, after that scene where he's worrying about it in the epilogue, actually does get sorted into Slytherin and then becomes best friends with none other than fellow Slytherin, Scorpius Malfoy. I don't really consider The Cursed Child canon because it just breaks too many rules.
We're going to use a time turner to save Cedric Diggory.
But it is an official Harry Potter produced show that is very successful and honestly great if you can see it in person. And most important to this video, it highlights a Slytherin hero and showcases how even the most extraordinary rivalry between Gryffindor and Slytherin, the enmity between Harry and Draco, does not transcend time and can and should be left in the past. Then there were also several ebooks written where backgrounds were given for other villains that highlighted their non-Slytherin houses. Like, we all know Peter Pettigrew was an evil Gryffindor, but did you know that Quirrell and Lockhart were actually in Ravenclaw?
Pretty obvious.
Thought you ought to know.
Not to mention Marietta Edgecombe, am I right? I mean, that sneaky little swat. Man, that really feels like something you are not allowed to say. But I assure you, I looked it up, it is just British slang for someone who is over-invested in their schoolwork. Or hopefully everyone in Britain isn't like, wow, Jay, that is just... You shouldn't say it. My bad. Hufflepuff, on the other hand, to this day, still has no villains, but I would like to take this moment to argue my case that Zachariah Smith is actually just 12 bags of enchanted wrenches in a trench coat. I mean, how else could you be that big a tool?
So he says.
Obviously, he's not evil or anything, but he definitely brings a certain toxic attitude to the room that makes you feel like you'd probably never want to hang out with him on purpose, doesn't he?
Why?
And then in case you're wondering, yes, they did change the welcome message to not be so elitist or derogatory to the other houses, but instead just highlight some other famous wizards from Slytherin House, like Merlin! But really, all of that is just to say that back in the day, being sorted into Slytherin as a real person didn't feel that good on the inside, and then it wasn't really validated by the website that was telling you you were in Slytherin, and then perhaps worst of all, was met with disdain from fellow Potterheads. Because as I said earlier, one of the first things anyone asks you, even now, when you start talking about Harry Potter is, what's your house? And it did feel kind of awkward admitting that you'd been sorted into Slytherin and was often met with this like, oh wait, really? Like, maybe I don't know about you. You suddenly don't seem quite as trustworthy. It created this weird division in the country that it felt like we all lived in. As if we, the fans of the Harry Potter book series, who are all sitting here comparing which fictional high school wizard house we're all in, we're on Voldemort's side. We're anti-Muggleborn. As if anyone in the real world was ever on Voldemort's side. Like, we Slytherins love Harry. We wanted him to win. We're annoyed at Voldemort for casting this stupid dark shadow over us. And the crazy thing is, it ended up being the exact opposite experience of the Slytherins in the books, who were all like wildly proud to be in Slytherin.
Slytherin!
and do look down on everybody else.
Red hair and a hand-me-down robe. You must be a Weasley.
Now, of course, those characters don't know they're characters in a book, but we, the readers, are pretty aware of it, and in the books, it is pretty black and white. Slytherin bad, other houses good. But it's amazing in real life what having the perceived moral high ground can suddenly do to someone's attitude. Enter the Slytherin Paradox, where in the books, the Slytherins truly are jerks and prejudiced toward everyone all the time and are generally bad people.
You filthy little mudblood.
But then in real life, this caused people who were sorted into the other three houses to look down on other real-life people who were sorted into Slytherin, thus committing the very prejudice they believe they're standing up against. Even though we're all in the exact same boat, loving the exact same 7 books and fictional world together. Do you see the irony? So, what happened? Well, the rebranding worked really well. Those were all really great steps, but they were not the core of the solution. That came down to the fans, who make up one of the most extraordinary communities on Earth. The Harry Potter fandom is fundamentally made up of people who, by definition, all love the same thing and believe the messaging of Harry Potter, that acceptance and friendship and love and courage and humility are good things. That good will conquer evil, that prejudice is wrong, and that we should practice acceptance and tolerance. It's as Dumbledore and the Sorting Hat and Harry all come to realize that unity is the key. Lord Voldemort's gift for spreading discord and enmity is very great. We can fight it only by showing an equally strong bond of friendship and trust. Differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open. And we did not let ourselves be torn apart. Friendship and trust are more important than our differences or houses, and these days, much like Harry, nobody cares if you're in Slytherin. Because at the end of the day, you and anyone else is so much more than just their house, and we must always strive to not let one dark shadow tear us apart. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see what would have happened if Harry had been sorted into Slytherin, you can check out this video right here. Or if you want to see why Cornelius Fudge is just the worst, you can check out this video right here. But otherwise, Ben, until next time, I will see you in another life, brother.